Now I thought today I'd make a beef rendang. Now a rendang means it's going to be spicy because we're going to use chilies. We're going to use a lovely piece of beef which is going to be like braising steak. So it's going to come out lovely and tender and they're just going to be wonderful flavours in this. So let's go through the ingredients and get on with the cooking. Now with the beef I'm going to be using braising steak. In terms of weight, mine weighs about 1.2 kilograms. Now what we're going to do is just chop this down into nice chunky cubes, and obviously we're going to marinate that and, you know, get those flavours in there. So really get yourself a nice bit of braising steak. Remember with this steak you need to cook it fairly slow, so a couple of hours or so until it's become really nice and tender. This selection here is all going to go in the blender, and that is going to make up the marinade for this beautiful piece of beef. Now what I'm going to use for that is some shallots. I've probably got about 10 shallots there, so peel the outer sort of skin if you like, and you know, just pop them in the blender along with some fresh ginger. Peel the outside skin. This piece is a couple of inches long, I would say, so you know, you can chop it up. Along with the lemon grass. Now what you want to do is almost like peel off the outer leaves and just leave the stalks. So 2 lemongrass. Kaffir lime leaves. Now they give a wonderful flavour. You know, you smell them, beautiful. Put them in the blender. We're going to blend it all together. 6 cloves of garlic, and we've got some chilies. Now with the chilies, obviously you can add whatever chilies you like, however many you like, depending on your taste. So I've got sort of 3 medium chilies, and I'm pretty going to use all the seeds and everything. So all that's going to go in the blender, but I'll also add the stalks of the coriander. So chop the stalks off, all gets blended with a little bit of water, and the natural marinade that's going to marinate this beautiful piece of beef. Now whilst that's marinating, leave it for at least a couple of hours. You could leave it overnight to get those flavours to really develop. So 2 hours if you're in a rush, overnight if you can leave it. Now when you're ready for cooking, what we can do is get a little bit of oil, and then we're going to start cooking up the spices. Now what we've got for that is the following. We've got 2 cinnamon sticks. Got 6 or 7 cardamom pods. Just going to gently crush those so the seeds, you know, the husk if you like, opens up, the seeds can pop out. Then I've got 1 tablespoon of ground cumin and ground coriander, and then I've got about 3, maybe 4 if you want, star anise. So they are going to flavour up the oil, and then what you're going to do is put that marinated meat in there, and you're going to have something wonderful to start with. Now the rest of the ingredients that are going to go in: a can of coconut milk. Then we've got some fish sauce. Now with the fish sauce you want to use about 1 tablespoon, again that's the big spoon. Palm sugar, about 1 tablespoon. And then we've got this tamarind paste, about 2 tablespoons of that. Add in some beef stock. Now I'm going to use 1 cube beef stock with roughly about 200 millilitres of boiling water. And over here I've got some dried chilies because we're trying to get a little bit kick to this. Now with the dried chilies, what I'd say is you probably want to get a little bit of boiling water, about 50 millilitres of, you know, boiling water. Just soak those, and then what we can do is just chop them up, add them in the mix along with that water, because the water will also have a little bit of the chili flavour. And then, you know, once it's cooked for a couple of hours almost, towards the end, what we can do is just squeeze some fresh lime juice, and then finally at the end we can add in fresh coriander leaves. Just sort of dress it up, give it that final flavour. Don't forget the salt and pepper seasoning, and you're going to have something delicious. So there's all the ingredients. So let's get it all prepared, and then we can get on with the cooking. So now I've got everything prepared. Now I've got my blender here, and I'm just going to add all the ingredients. I've got those coriander stalks, and here I've got that beautiful mix. It's all the shallots and chilies. It's all good. Look at that, just about fitted in there. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water because it just helps to lubricate it. Got to lubricate things sometimes. Put that in. See if we can get the top on there, and I'm just going to blend that down. There you go, I've blended that down and oh, it smells good and it looks wonderful. Now that is ready to go over the beef to marinate it. Now I've got me piece of meat. Now I'm going to season that. It's all been chopped up. I'm going to put some salt. Really give it a good bit of seasoning. And salt. Really get a good bit of seasoning on there. Obviously I've chopped it down into nice chunky pieces, so that's good. Put that in the bowl there. Now I've got this mixture which is going to be the marinade, and it's really simple. You just put it all in the blender. So let's scoop that out. Oh, smells so good. Now you need to get your hands in here at this point and really give this a good mix around. You want to get everything coated. Beautiful. There you go. That's all done. So now we put that marinade over. Just put some cellophane, break that off, and then what we can do is pop that in the fridge. Now I'm going to get on with the cooking. Now I've got me meat, the beef, and I've had it marinating for 2 or 3 hours. Obviously, as I say, ideally leave it overnight to really get those flavours into the meat. But I need to crack on with the video, so what I'm going to do is put some oil in there. You know, you can use any oil you've got, vegetable oil, whatever you've got. So put a good glug of that. Switch heat on. I've got the oil just warming up, so about a medium heat, and I've got all these spices here. Look at those. Now when we pop those in, keep your sort of kitchen doors shut because everyone's going to get hungry. Now what I'm going to do is just gently move those around, get them in the oil, and you want to cook those until you get a nice fragrant smell. Now I've had that cooking for about a minute. Now I've also got these cardamom pods, and in my pestle and mortar, just kind of breaking them up a little bit. Because what you want to do is get the seeds out, and with those spices, move them around and don't overcook them. We're just trying to take a little bit of the rawness and get the flavour out of there. Now I reckon we're ready to put in the meaty bit. Oh, shut your door. It's smelling gorgeous. Now since I put the meat in there, probably had that cooking for just coming up for 5 minutes. And just moving that around. Oh, the aromas, beautiful. Now let's put the rest of the ingredients in there. Now we've got the fish sauce, tamarind paste. Gonna get that out of there. Palm sugar. Got the beef stock. Now we've got the chilies. Now what I'd say with the chilies, these are the ones that were dried. But if you put them in water, they kind of, you know, a bit bigger, and just break those up. Leave the seeds in there. Gonna give it a spice. And obviously we've got the juice as well. It came with it. Give it a good move around. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be so good. Now, I've obviously got the coconut milk. Now what I'm going to do is just turn this down. Turn it down fairly low. And then I'm going to add the coconut milk in there. We can just add a little bit of water in there. Swoosh it around. Now at this point you probably want to keep it on a fairly low heat. So put a lid on it. Now what I'd say is keep that on fairly low. Now really you want to cook this for at least a couple of hours until the meat has become really beautiful and tender. Now occasionally come back, just give it a mix around, put the lid back on until the meat is wonderful, and then we can serve it up. Now I've been cooking mine for about 2.5 hours. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve mine up, and before I do that I've got me lime. Now I'm actually going to use 2 limes, just squeeze the juice in there. So I'm just going to do that with both of the limes, and that is just going to add a wonderful flavour. A good squeeze, lovely. Now let's give it a quick mix around. Like that. And also I've got the chopped up coriander. Pop that in. Now I'm going to take that over to the table and serve mine with some rice. So I'm just going to serve some of that curry up. Now I've got myself some boiled rice. So let's have a bit of that. It's always good. Let's get some of the meaty parts. Oh, look at that. Nice pieces of beef, and these are going to be lovely and soft because we've been cooking them a couple of hours or so, maybe a little bit longer. Obviously with the meat, what you will need to do is cook it until it has become wonderful and soft. Now, because remember it's braised steak, and it just needs to be cooked long and slow. Look at that, looks wonderful. Now I'm going to serve it up, dress it up if you like, with a little bit of fresh coriander. It's always a good one. Now let's just try that and see how it is. Now I'm just going to have a look at the meat first. Obviously with the meat, look how lovely and tender that is. Look, just pulls apart, beautiful. That's how it should be. And it's going to have a lovely flavour. Let me just try that. Oh. That is absolutely scrummy. Not just saying that, that is a beautiful curry. You've got all the spices, they all work together really well. It's lovely and balanced. Go and make this, you're definitely going to enjoy it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, have a little bit of rice with that. Oh yeah. And obviously you can serve it up. Little bit of naan bread, can't go wrong with that. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope to see you on the next one. The original Naked Chef. Oh, and you've got a nice kick from that chilli. Delish.